What do you do when all of a sudden you feel this huge embarrassment flood over you? Or what do you do when something bad happens and all of a sudden you feel angry? Or what do you do if life just seems so depressing and pressing down on you? How do you learn to manage your emotions? Well, I'm going to tell you what I do to manage my emotions, and that allows me to be able to control my emotions. So let's think about a person, a whole person. They have a mind, they have a body, and they also have emotions. And that's part of them. It's part of who we all are. We all have feelings, or at least I hope we have feelings, and we can feel our feelings and recognize our feelings. That's what makes life so amazingly unique for each of us, is because we all have these unique feelings. But we need to learn to manage them. And I've learned to manage my feelings similarly in the way I've learned to manage my body. Now, when I'm asleep, I rest, and I rest well, and I enjoy being able to rest. But it doesn't mean I rest all day long, all the time. That gets really monotonous and boring. I exercise, and I love to move my body. I have been given a great body, and I've been taking very good care of it. Hopefully I can keep doing that. I have a brain, and I exercise my brain. I allow it to think really hard, wonderful thoughts, and I use those thoughts and exercise it. But then there are times when I just chill out, and I don't exercise my brain. I just relax and allow my brain to enjoy great music or whatever it is it's enjoying. Well, the same thing happens with our emotions. If we're in a constant level of emotion, we aren't experiencing all that there is to experience in life. There is opposition in all things. We need to be able to recognize that sometimes we're angry, sometimes we're joyous, sometimes we're sad, and sometimes we're happy, and there are all kinds of anger or all kinds of emotions. And we need to recognize those emotions. Embarrassment is a tough emotion sometimes. It just happens, I get so embarrassed that I don't want to come out of my shell. But I know that I can come out of my shell because, hey, life is worth sharing. And it's more fun when you share. So you can't live in certain emotions sometimes. But how do we manage our emotions, and how do we exercise them? We know how to exercise our body, at least I hope we do, and we know how to exercise our brain, I hope we do. How do we exercise emotions? Well, first of all, it's okay to feel all kinds of emotions. There is opposition in all things, and it's okay to allow ourselves to think through moments of embarrassment, even before they happen. And you may want to pull out a piece of paper and journal on this piece of paper. I am embarrassed when. And then write about, I'm embarrassed when. And then you just write all of these things, what embarrasses you, and how you deal with it, and how it makes you feel, and how you can manage it. And after you've written all about this and worked it all out, then when something happens, you know exactly what to do because you've thought it through. You've got a pattern. You know the steps to take to manage that embarrassment. The same thing with anger. When anger comes, this is how I'm going to work it through because I know that I will be angry. There's this anger that comes up in me, and you work it through on paper so that when it happens in real life, somebody cuts you off in traffic, you're like, oh, I know how to manage that. And you just go through it, and you're back to being happy, or you're back to being your standard of whatever emotion that you want to have. And that's the other thing. You can program yourself to be a certain way. Now that you know how to manage all of the negative emotions that happen in your life, frustration, anger, sadness, embarrassment, all of those things, you know how to manage them, you can quickly get away from those emotions that are negative back to where you want to be. I choose joy. I choose happiness to be. And men are that they might have joy. If you can figure it out, you can have it. And so in order to become that way, You may want to journal about it. What is exactly joy? What is exactly happiness? And what makes me happy? What makes you happy? So now that you've journaled about it, you know all about it, you can program yourself to be that way by managing your emotions, by letting go and working through the negative ones and getting yourself back to the positive ones. Now, depression is a very powerful emotion, but it's also a physiological thing. There's a whole another video on how to deal with depression, but depression you can benefit through the same process to help yourself get through some of the negative emotions that are holding you down so that you can get back to your level of joy and happiness. So if you need to know more about depression, check on one of my other videos that deals with the physiological aspects of depression and how to overcome depression. But for now, let's learn to manage our emotions by working through the negative ones and getting ourselves back to the positive emotions so that we're back to where we need to be and want to be, where we choose to be with our mind and our body and our emotions and our spirit. It's amazing. Thank you. My name is Keith Allred. I am an Empower Mentor, and I want you to have a powerful life full of meaning. Thank you.